I think we can all agree we need more teachers, but not just any teachers. We need more high quality educators. And with the trend of teachers leaving the classroom, including myself, we need something to be able to reverse the trend. We need to be able to identify why are teachers leaving the classroom and how can we get more high quality educators inside the classroom to teach our next generation of students. Well, I have some opinions on this topic because I am invested in our educational system. I have children of my own that are going through the school system. And being a classroom teacher for so many years, I have some experience of what goes on and also why teachers are leaving the classroom. And I don't think it's rocket science to be able to figure this out. I'm not going to hit on everything in this video. So if there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments down below on what your thoughts are on reversing the trend of getting educators back inside the classroom. Now, the first thing I always think about, the reason why I became a teacher is because I enjoy teaching. Literally the love of being inside of a classroom with the students and guiding them throughout the whole year. I just wanted to teach. And I think majority of great teachers, that's all they want to do. They don't want to indoctrinate your children. They don't have hidden political agendas. Most great high quality teachers just want to teach. But there's a problem because one thing that I found from when I first started teaching to my last couple years, teachers are bombarded with mandates and requirements, testing, and all these things that take them away from actually teaching inside the classroom. They want what's best for your students. They know how to teach what's best for your students. But increasingly, the control has been taken away from teachers to create this kind of system where like you can just put anybody inside of a classroom and they are expected just to teach the exact same way, the exact same material like a robot. And that is not how you're going to produce high quality teachers. Good teachers know how to teach. And again, I am purposely focusing on high quality educators. Give them a voice and let them teach. But we know just being able to give teachers that autonomy and knowing what's best for their students to make those decisions and let them teach, they still need support. Another thing that has changed in the teaching profession from when I first started becoming a teacher was not just this kind of restriction of how and what you're going to teach. The support system for teachers has evaporated. When I'm always going through parent-teacher conferences, I always talk about the triangle of education that occurs between the teacher, the parent, and the student. There needs to be accountability on the student as well as the parent's end to be able to help that child get a proper education. Sometimes I feel like students are dropped off at school and the teacher just is the babysitter. It's like, hey, here's 8-hour days. You educate my child. And I get it from some respect. Parents are just trying to survive. Some of them are working 2+ jobs, just trying to provide for their family. And it's difficult. I get it. I am a parent myself, and I know exactly all that it goes into to being invested in your child's education. We cannot just rely and hold teachers fully accountable for all the education that our child is going to need. Furthermore, teachers used to be able to get support inside of the school. Administrators used to be able to step in and help the teachers with their education. One thing I found with administrative or district levels is it's not really about the teachers. They are bombarded with their own needs and district mandates and meetings, and they are not able to provide the support for the teachers inside of the classroom. Our children have a lot of needs, and teachers are just overwhelmed with not just the teaching, they just want to teach, but also all the other demands that our children are seeking. There needs to be some more support for our teachers, therefore they can do what is best, and which is to teach. Now, up to this point, I really just wanted to focus on the environment, because I think that is the most important thing to be able to get high quality educators inside of the classroom. Create an environment where the best of the best teachers can flourish, where they want to come into a school and do what they were paid to do, which is to teach. But the unfortunate thing is a lot of teachers are barely getting by. I recently saw an article where a school district was building an apartment for affordable housing for their own educators. And it just made me think, if we have our teachers that are teaching our children for 8 hours a day, probably the second most important people that we put our children in front of to educate them in their most important years of development, there's a problem if those people that are so important cannot even afford to live on where they are supposed to teach. This is a lot more of a complex subject than what I'm going to get into, but it really just focuses in on paying teachers more. And I know we can have the argument of teachers are paid too much, they get summers off and yada, yada, yada. But the reality is you're going to get what you pay for. And if you want the best of the best teachers, you're going to have to pay for what they're worth. I don't think we need to raise taxes. I don't think we need to take our money from other quality investments to be able to pay for teachers. I do see there is a ton of waste of the money that we spend in our educational system. If we can focus on the money that we are spending on education and put it inside of the classroom to pay the best of the best teachers what they are worth, we are going to get our value back. But money is not going to solve the issue. We know that. It has been proven time and time again. but I want teachers to be paid what they're worth. And I want to be able to provide an incentive where we can attract the best of the best teachers to continue to stay inside the classroom, to not only find an environment that they love and they can flourish, but to make sure that they can support themselves as well as their family. But we also have to be able to get rid of the poor teachers. The teachers that are just mailing it in, are not adapting or putting in the effort into teaching every single day. I knew when it was my time to step away from the classroom, I did not have the passion to be in there. And I knew it right at the moment. I said, you know what? I am going to continue teaching for as long as I still have that passion. There's a lot of external factors going on why I stepped out of the classroom, but the most important determining factor was I didn't have the passion to be able to teach inside the classroom. I didn't want to be that teacher. I know I've been around many, many teachers that you can just say are just mailing it in. They don't have the enthusiasm, and I never wanted to be that teacher. I was drained. I didn't have the motivation or the passion to be teaching, and I said, you know what? This has to be my last year. I cannot be that teacher for those students. They deserve better. I want to make sure that my students are going to get the best quality education. And so I knew it was my time to step away. And that's what we need to demand from our teachers. Teachers that are invested. We need to give them the environment to flourish. We need to pay them what it's worth. But we also need to be able to identify what are those best high quality teachers. I don't love the current teacher evaluations. I think it's basically a good dog and pony show to basically be able to get mediocrity. And that's exactly what we have. There's absolutely no place for teachers that are going to take advantage of our youth, be it any political influence or sexual predators, or to abuse and bully them. But guess what? If we're pushing away all of our best and our brightest, that is what we're going to end up with. So it is critically important that we find a way to be able to identify those best teachers. And I'm telling you, teachers know good teaching. Find the best teachers and do what we need to do to keep them inside of the system. I might not have all the answers, but I'm telling you, if we are able to listen and we are able to change, we can create an environment where we can have the best educators inside of the classroom. And that's what I want, and I hope that's what you want as well.